Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio, podcast, and television show. I'm your host, Life Coach Myrna Young, and sitting in the guest chair today is Andre Paradis, relationship coach. And as of today, my most frequent guest on the show.
Mm.
This is Andre's third time on the show. And why do I invite him back all the time? Because I love talking about relationships. And not only I love talking about relationships, but I love learning about relationships because relationships are dynamic. So even though that I've been married for 16 years, I can still learn. But really, today I invited Andre back because this is going to be my Valentine gift to you. So Andre and I are going to be talking today on the topic, why he chooses you and you don't choose him.
Ooh,
Very important information to know. Welcome, Andre.
thank you, Myrna. Good morning. I think it's good morning where you are.
Yeah, it's good afternoon, right? Yes, good
Yeah,
morning
no,
where
good
you are,
afternoon.
right? Yes, you're 3 hours behind me.
Mm.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. All right. So for our new listeners, let
Yes.
me give you an introduction to Andre. Andre's mission in life is to teach and empower people. Andre is a certified life coach, entrepreneur, business owner, and artist who is now focusing his professional energy on teaching singles and couples how to create and maintain successful relationships. Yeah, it's a dying breed.
Mm.
Andre has been teaching people in a variety of disciplines for nearly 25 years. He began his teaching career in 1986, teaching English as a second language in Japan. The following year, he began sharing his passion for dance and continues to teach dance regularly. In 2009, as part of his PAX Mastery and Leadership Program, Andre began sharing his learning and experience around relationships with his men versus women workshops. Andre has been happily married for 20 years to his beautiful wife, Nancy, who is also a former professional dancer and current dance instructor. They live in the San Fernando Valley with their two children. Andre is a proud French Canadian. He was born and raised in Quebec City with his three brothers and sisters. So we got the Canadian connection too.
Okay.
That's right. That's right. Okay. All right. So let's dive right in. This is going to be a
Yes.
tantalizing, interesting conversation. And whether you're single, whether you're married, you better stay tuned because you can always learn something. So, Andre, as we start off, let's start strong.
Let's start
What do
strong.
you see is the number one reason this Valentine that men and women are alone? You say that the men are going their own way.
Hmm.
Why do you think that's happening?
Well, it's getting to be harder and harder to find value in relationships with women in a culture where boss babe, go girl, don't need no man is everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like it sounds silly, and I don't mean to be crass, but like this is what's out there. So men are receiving, don't care for you, follow my lead. Well, men won't follow anybody's lead. Do you know what I mean? Be vulnerable. No, right? So like we try to flip the script on what masculinity is and destroy it and shame men out of it, which makes women actually don't like, not like soft men. Women don't like passive men. Women still want men to be men, but the culture says you have to follow her lead or she's the boss babe and you get to be 50-50. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So men are stepping out because women are quite uh difficult to get in groove with that mentality thinking. Boss babe is great for business, but in relationship is the kiss of death. I mean, no self-respecting man would let himself get bossed around. So men step out, men step out, men step out, men step out. You know what I mean? And I do a lot of mentoring work with men trying to understand what's happening out there, why it's so difficult, right? Most men are just good. Like they want to provide, they want to protect everything, naturally. They want to give and cherish women, but women won't let them provide, protect, cherish them. They have a list of things that he has to provide, and they say things like, I deserve. Well, deserve means you work for it, right? And Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Women are worthy of love and cherishing, absolutely. But to show up with "I deserve it," like you owe it to me up front, it's really a turnoff, right? So men are like,
Hmm.
I'm a good guy, but you're gonna lean on me with all these things. I don't even know you yet, but you deserve it, and I must, and, you know. And like I said, it's very masculine push that women are showing up. Like, you just got to meet me up here and all that stuff. And but really, at the same time, we don't need no man. Like, ladies, it's not working, right? This is not what attracts men. This is not that does not make you attractive, sexy, magnetic, warm. It's the exact opposite. Those masculine qualities that you're so encouraged to lean in all day long are actually keeping men away. Masculine men are not interested in masculine women. It's very, very
Yeah.
simple. Hunters don't date hunters. You know what I mean? Like, as a rule. So keep that in mind. It's nature in action. The more masculine, the more leaning in, the more go girl you go. Again, it's beautiful for work and money. Fine, but typically it becomes a way of being that you throw all over the place, and the masculine men won't stand for it. They won't stand for it. They will literally just avoid you like the plague.
Yeah. I
So
know that that's what's happening in the world. And a lot of people now are talking about why women are so masculine, and really, I don't want to, get sidetracked on this, but I'm just going to make
mm,
this comment. The women, are stating their demands. You're right. And
okay,
and the guy is not. You're right. They're running from that because they don't want a woman that's telling them what to do and all that.
can't do that with a man.
All right. So what makes a man choose a woman? Because that's basically where we're going
Woo.
today.
Right, we're talking about Valentine's Day and people coming together and that whole celebration of love, right? Love,
Right.
right?
Right.
Everybody's looking for love. Everybody's looking for love. There's a lot of data on this, right? We know this, both men and women, data, research, are happier, live longer, are more productive, make more money, are more creative. Just all the goodies in life come from being in healthy relationships for both men and women. This is actually the catalyst to the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your relationship. So that's not cute and casual. It's not something to put on the side and think about later, right? Now, right? We all require this to be happier. So love, relationships, is the point. But there's an this nature as a system, a yin yang, a masculine and feminine, the dance, I call it, the dance of the partnership, the relationship, that makes things work naturally. That, again, we just talked about, is seems to be inverted in our culture. So when it comes to commitment, again, if you understand, uh, man,
Maybe we should back up a bit.
okay,
Is a man choosing a woman based on intellectual decisions, meaning that he's checking off a list? Is he
uh,
choosing based on feelings like chemistry? I feel good for her. How is he making that choice?
right. So there's a process for men. There's a
Right.
process.
Yeah.
There's kind of like, I have an article that I wrote on this. Is about there's kind of a 5 steps that makes a man to progress into commitment.
Yes. That's
Right.
what I want
So,
to hear.
so I should pull my documents so I could actually be precise with you doing it. Let me see really quickly because that's important. I remember them, but at the same time, I don't want. Let me see. Is
Okay.
that okay if I take a second? Is that okay if I take a second?
Okay.
Sorry. Come on. All right, never mind. Let's keep going because
All right.
I don't want to give the farm away. So we'll talk about, you know, some of them. I think is probably more appropriate because it's also too long. But so basically there's a process. And it's also confusing a little bit because the process that have as men step into committing is something that they're not really aware of. It's not a thought process. It's a reactivity thing. What I mean by
Mm.
that is you understand that men are responding to women constantly. If you're lovely, feminine, we get closer, right? If you're sweet and smell good, we're even closer. If you need some help, there we are, right? But if you say, I got it, we step back. Do you know what I mean? Like we're responding to you, your energy, your presence. Like you can't believe it. You as well towards us, but very differently. Men respond to women's energy instantly. We connect into you. With that, without being able to explain it, what women don't understand is your behavior, your character, the way you show up, your attitude, your mood, right? Your way of being in your body has a man go yes or no.
Or no. Yes.
Men have no gray area with stuff like
Yes.
this. You're yes or you're no,
Or no.
right?
Right.
Women are
Yes.
all about the gray area,
It's
but
true.
not men. So so some of the men that I work with, that I'm sending him on dates, and man up and do it this way and make sure she feels da 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 da. Right? There's a whole system that's very simple, but nobody's teaching him. So, and they'll go on a date. And I go, "How'd it go?" He goes, "Oh no, she was lovely, but she was pretty, but there was it, but right." On the other side, she was trying to not waste her time. She started interrogating him, which is a terrible. This is not how you date as a woman, right? You don't interrogate the guy. If he's gonna sit there, I hear this all the time. Well, I'm just gonna sit there, and I don't want to waste my time. Well, that's masculine as hell, right? That is not being sweet and present, right? And
Wow.
magnetic and warm, right? You don't want to waste your
Mm.
time. Yeah, there's a dude sitting in front of the guy. That's what's happening. Men sense
Mm-hmm.
that right away. So again, they can't really quite put the finger on it, but something on the other side is not working. She's a little too stiff. She's a little too pushy already. She's a little, if you hate dating, he'll pick it up that you hate dating because you're not in a good space, right? So men will pick up what's going on the other side without really knowing what's going on, except no. She was at no.
No.
So that's terrible because again, women don't know how to date because women don't know what men are looking for on dates, stepping
Right.
into courting, stepping into commitment, right?
Yeah.
We decoded it. I decoded it. I could teach it, but men can't even talk about it. They don't even know how it happens. They're reactive, and it's a yes. Oh, another yes. Oh, another yes. Oh, another yes. Oh, another yes. Oh, yeah. Until they stack enough yeses, then now they realize you're kind of the woman that understands him, gets him, because it's also a reflection of how he feels in your
Mm-hmm.
presence and how you treat him. If you get
Mm-hmm.
him, right now, this sounds casual of sort of ladies, like if you don't get who he is, he's going to be fighting the rest of his life trying to prove that you know, that who he is and his values and his character is his. Do you know what I mean? So if you don't get him and you think that his hobbies are stupid, his friends are stupid, his job's not paying enough, he's out of there. Right? Do you know what I mean? So a man needs to be able to have the freedom to be himself and to be autonomous and for him to be accepted for those things.
Right. That
Women
is
don't
so
understand
good.
that. Women don't understand that. Women don't understand that. It's so
Yes.
simple.
Yes. I get that totally. Wow. We're starting off
Right?
strong because this is information that a lot of women don't know. But
Right.
they do that because somewhere along the line, they've been told that, yes, you don't want someone wasting your time, especially a woman that's, looking for marriage.
Yeah.
And they were told to do it. I mean, I've heard it. I mean, I haven't been in the dating game for a while, and I don't think
Yeah.
I did it because to me, when I was dating, I just went by feelings, and that's not the right way.
Ta-da.
I know that's not the right way either. But hang on, I heard someone say the other day that when you meet a guy, you should
Hmm.
you should you should conduct it like a job interview. But you're saying that that's bad.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No way. This is why you're failing. This is why women can't get a second date and they think there's something wrong with them. I go, it's not a job
No
interview.
job
It's
interview, right?
not a job interview. You don't get to drill into him to find out if he loves his mother, where there's all like, dude, you know what I mean? No, you don't ask him, how much money he's making. Like, that's ridiculous. But if you're, it's kind of the cultural pulse, right? You don't want to waste your time. You know, this is a potential by interviewing the guy.
Mhm.
First of all, nothing about that is energetically positive, magnetic towards you, right? You're leaning on him, and you're gonna be a butt. Yeah, she was lovely butt, right? I don't imagine if you're already a pain on the first date. Why in the name of God would you go out for a second date?
Second date.
Like
Right.
seriously, like it's that delicate, right? And I say this when I teach my ladies, like, first of all, this is the rules of dating. This is when men, this is how men function. But the first 3 dates, this is huge. It's so freaking simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Men aren't they don't live we don't live through our feelings, right? You live through your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You understand it, right? It's everything you see, smell, taste, touch throughout the day makes you feel good and bad. And you like, you do this all day long. It's like the weather. Okay, beautiful. The weather on the East Coast, that is, not in California. I had to throw that in there. Right.
Right.
So women will live their lives through their feelings. It's completely normal. That's right, but it can be chaotic. Men do not live their lives through their feelings, which is often why to you we seem cold and detached and careless,
They're
really, or
logical.
right, we're
Yes, right?
logical. You're
Logical, right.
you're hardy, right? So being logical sometimes looks cold and detached and uncaring. That's not true. We're in our heads. But get this. So you live through your feelings, we live through our heads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. It's called nature. You can resent it all you want. Just talk to God about it, not me. Just saying. Right? But so when you understand this, on a date, first, second, third, especially with a new person, a new woman, this is huge, ladies. Pay attention. Right? Men who are logical in the presence of a feminine woman, the key word here is feminine, not
Feminine.
a
I
woman,
know.
just any
Right.
chick, not a woman, not a beast in a skirt. A feminine woman, which is which pulls the energy back, who's receptive, who is magnetic, who's warm, who's inviting, who's happy, joyful in her body in that moment. It's not that hard, right? But that energy, right, brings us straight out of our heads and brings us completely present to you.
Mm.
You can't think in the presence of magnetic, warm energy woman.
Aw,
You
that's
just get caught up
beautiful.
in her. It's fantastic. It's again nature, right? So
Yes,
we get
yes,
we
right.
get caught up
Mm-hmm.
in the eyes and the smile, right? And the way she's speaking and all little mannerism and like I can't think in the presence of a feminine woman, right? And that's what you want because this is what we need femininity because it takes us out of our heads, brings us present in our bodies. We get to be more in our hearts, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
you like us the most. We need you to get there. That's what's important about it. So don't be a man, on a date because everything that he's looking for instinctively, by the way, you can't explain it. It's just what
Right,
works for him,
right.
right? So, and like I said, in the presence of a feminine woman, the goodies in that is I'm present, I'm connected. I can't think of anything else but be with her. So with
Yes.
ladies, think about this. This is when men are in their feelings because we don't live there, but we get there because of you. That's what we're looking for. So you are actually responsible. I'm gonna give you some good love here. Ladies, you are responsible on a date for the energy between you two. You are to
Mm-hmm.
get him out of his head, for him to go, wow, this woman is like warm and magnetic and feminine and lovely and like this stuff that is the opposite of who we are. Opposite of masculinity is where you want to be in every level, right?
That's
So the
good advice.
first,
And that's
but
not only for single people too. When you're
uh,
married and you're going out,
absolutely,
you just still need to do the same thing. Because my head
yeah.
is going here now.
Yep.
Yes, yes.
So the first 3 dates, especially 1, 2, 3, because the first one is always a bit awkward. So ladies, don't try to lean in, lean back, and let him ask the question. Enjoy your wine, right? Just connect. Look him in his eyes, connect with him, and let him lead. He's going to think you're fantastic if he's a man.
Mm,
Now, there's boys, guys, and men in my world. You know this, right? So the
right, right.
boys are feminine, so that won't work. And if that happens, run anyway, because these guys will make you work and pay the rest of your life. So that's not men. So
Yes.
it's a
Right, right,
distinction that I
right.
teach right away. Boys will not do what men do, but they look the same. So you want to know who you're dealing with. So boys don't act like men, but the men will lean in, will ask you the question. You'll feel quite interrogated because he's curious about you, because there's something about you, and I wants to know if he's looking to build who you are, what you love, what's interesting to you, what you're passionate about, blah, 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 blah. He's going to go. You know what I mean? But the first date is always a bit awkward. So again, I say just lean back, enjoy your wine, look in his eyes, and just respond to him. Respond to him,
Mhm.
right?
Let the
You do it.
femininity flow, right?
Hello, right? Change the space. You'll make his day or his week. We never get to
Yes,
encounter this any longer.
yes.
We're always
Hmm.
working, right? So with that, you get a second date. And you didn't have to try anything. You just get to be free, to be you, to be present. And he thinks you're fantastic. You don't have to try to do anything. You just get to be in your body and happy to be there. Like, and look at it as like, be grateful that somebody's taking you out, for God's sakes. It's not, I mean, there's something to be grateful about. You could be sitting alone with a cat, right? I'm just saying.
That's
So
right. That's
change your
right.
attitude, reframe
Just
the
change
dating
your
sucks,
attitude,
right?
right?
So anyway,
Hmm.
with that, you get a second date, and typically we're more comfortable on a second date, and this is how you get a third one. And women say this to me: it is a terrible mistake. I'm going to say this: terrible mistake. Don't let this happen to you. You may miss out on incredible relationship. Is that women are quick to jump to, oh, he's not my type, or he wasn't tall enough, or like he was kind of a dork, or right. I mean, he's like he had nothing much to say, right? And like discard the guy. Now that's a terrible mistake. First of all, most everyone is awkward on the first date. It's a little weird. Not all people, men especially, have the gift of gab to give the conversation interesting and going, right? It's not easy for a guy. It's not for a lot of people, especially if you're so feminine that actually will like jam him up. Like he'll get so caught up in you. I'm telling you,
Wow.
right? If he's
Yes.
got
Yes.
if he's got chemistry for you, that you make him tingle, it's gonna be harder for him not to be awkward. So like give the guy a break. So women make the mistake of like after a date, that's not no. So I always say give him 3 shots. The first time, always a little bit awkward, right? But unless your body was actually creeped out, if you weren't creeped out by him, right? Because as a woman,
Right.
you have a sense of things. If he's just awkward or not, and he wants to take you on a second date, you did it right, go, right? By the third date is when you know if you have some kind of chemistry for him. Second date, you'll go from he's a dork to whatever, and then you turn out you're like he's kind of quirky and funny. Actually, it's interesting that second, right? By the third date, if you have zero chemistry, it takes women typically 3 to 4 dates to know if they have chemistry for a guy. Men
Mhm.
know right away, and I can explain
Really?
it to you if you want. Yeah, our
Wow.
our bodies react.
That's true.
No, it's
I love that.
factual.
As you were talking, I remember my first date with my husband too. I thought that I wasn't going to go out with him anymore either because, yeah, I mean, I thought it was
A
whatever it
dud,
was,
a
I
dud.
wasn't getting it. But then something happened in the parking lot when he walked me to my car. I think he was honored a light or something, and I noticed something about him that I really liked. And that's why I went on the second date. But
But
I
see what
was
I
sitting
mean?
there, just like you're saying, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, no, 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 he's not for me.
Yeah. I don't feel it. You don't get to feel it on the first date.
Right.
It takes 3 to 4 on a woman to actually find out if you have chemistry with a man. Now, again, unless you creeped out, you go back, which he's still taking you
Right.
out. He's still having a lovely evening. You're not home with the cat, right? Like, whatever. Like, enjoy that. Enjoy that. Stop with the
Yes,
attitude.
yes.
Stop with the
I
bad
like
attitude,
that.
right? But,
Good
and
information here, ladies.
it's
Good
so
information. Knowledge
simple.
is power.
Boom.
Knowledge is power. So, all right. So we went to the date situation,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
I'm
our
not sure how we got
topic
here.
is today why he chooses you. So let's
Well,
go there for a minute.
okay. So, go ahead.
Hang on. Let me set this
Yeah,
up a
you
little
go,
bit.
you go, you go, you go. Yes.
Now, when I was growing up, right,
Yeah.
the fifth decade here, sixth decade, but
Mm,
when I was growing up, I was told that you never approach a man,
right.
boy, or whatever, because I started dating as a teenager.
Yeah.
Even if you like him, you let him be the first person to make a move.
Mm,
But that little thing started changing,
mhm.
my son when he was growing up, all the girls were calling. I've seen it, I had foster care kids, I adopted a few, and they would be sending notes to the boys in school. Do you like me? Can you want to be my boyfriend? And the girls right now
The
are
chasing.
extremely aggressive.
Yes.
And it's the millennial generation. I'm not sure if the older women are doing it or not, but you were saying that a man must be the one that chooses. So tell us what's going on there.
All right.
Why
So
why shouldn't women approach a man?
because it kills it kills the natural dynamic again. Now, again, I'm not preaching like 1950s stuff. This is like nature for millions of years. The hunter hunts, right? He's the sperm. He's the mover. She's the egg. She sits. Do you know what I mean? There's an energy to that. Seriously. So if you
True,
become
that's
the
true.
sperm, you make him the egg.
That's
That's not going to
exactly how it
work.
happens.
That's what's
Yeah.
happening. So what happened is now you're in charge. So and what's happening in our culture, again, it's not working. It's not working. Ladies, it's not working. Again, I've heard that so many times. I'm not going to just sit there, waste my time, wait for him to make up his mind. I'm going to go say hi. That makes you the
Yeah.
sperm. That makes him the egg. And what's happening with that, seriously, what happens with that dynamically, you're the man, right? And
Mm.
what happens to it still happens to me. Ladies, women flirt with me in public. Still, I'm so grateful. Thank you. Right. But like as much as it's flattering, right, to somebody to come on to me or to any man, it's flattering for a second. And if he's masculine at all, the next second it's irritating. Because you know what? I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna approach you if I like you. You don't get to like kind of push lean in on me, right? This
Mhm.
happened to my son. My son's 23 years old and he was in high school just like your son. The
Yeah.
girls would like just come
Yeah.
after him and he's like, "What is this, Dad? What is this? This pisses me off." Right? I
Yeah.
go, "Just
They're very aggressive.
come back with
Yes.
this one line. You know what? If I like you, how about I ask you out? If I like you, how about I be the man and decide if I ask you out? So just don't lean on me, right? It'd be all like you're just one of those. No, like I'm the man, so it's offensive. It's irritating. It's irritating. It's straight up irritating. Now, with the mistake that women don't understand, this is the danger, ladies. This is where you all not knowing why. If you come up to a guy and you're the man, right? You're the man, and you approach and you lean in and you flirt, right? And you start the conversation, right? Whoever speaks first, by the way, is the masculine,
Mhm.
right? So it's just saying, is that delicate? All right.
Right. Mhm.
So I tell you this, has happened to me. It happens to me. This is how it records. If you're gonna make it easy on me, you're gonna approach me. My first thought is, you want to be introduced to the little guy, huh? What
But
else are
that's
you
not what
approaching
she
me?
wants. She's
No,
not,
no.
listen,
She does.
women are not going up to be introduced to a little guy. They're going up because they're lonely and they want a guy.
I understand, but on a man's radar, because you were not on my radar, I'm the one who says, wow, she's cute, there's something about her, and I step over, right? That makes me, I have to step over my fears and discomfort to go do this as masculine. But if
Mhm.
I'm passive, you come at me to make that happen for you, for us, right? There's no magnet formula. Like I'm not magnetized to you. I'm not going, wow, look at her, right? And sort of decide to move forward. You're killing that part in me. So now you come up to me, okay, I'll take your number. We'll go out. I'm gonna get some, but I never chose you. You
Mm.
chose me. So with that happens is making everyone just open to being used. Because if you're gonna come at me because you like me, I'm gonna get some. Because that's what you're screaming at me. Right? I don't
Mhm.
I didn't choose you. You came after me. Now you're pretty enough, you're lonely enough, whatever. I know exactly what to do to get you out of your pants. It doesn't mean the thing. Do you understand what I'm
I
saying?
like that
Like
one.
there's
I
no
know exactly
magnet.
what to do.
I
Okay.
know exactly what to do, exactly what to say, right? Because you're the one saying, take me.
Yeah.
Right? Like so it sounds ridiculous, but it's really against nature. Like so women have no problem you know, getting some rolling around in bed with men, and also the next mistake is women think that starting intimacy with a man starts a relationship. It does not. Sex has never started anything with men, especially when there's nothing behind it. It's too easy. You
Mhm.
go after the guy, you're the man, right? You're the sperm. You go after him, he's going to go share, right? You're going to do the stuff that people do. And, after 3 days, not even the second date, you're rolling in bed, you're thinking, wow, so this is working. He didn't choose you. He was not enchanted by you. He didn't step into his fears to go and, get over himself to go conquer you, right? He didn't have to do anything but buy you a sandwich. Did I mean like there's a whole system for men? Again, it's not the 50s, it's instinctual. Men have to kind of earn you favors and have to prove that they're good men for you to go, wow, this is a man I could probably trust, right? It takes time.
Right.
So I always say this, another course, like a little crass thing that I say is so when you get a man by the penis first, you never get his heart. And that's what everybody's doing. So
So
everybody's,
you're okay. That's what I want to interject. Never
yeah,
is there any time that he still likes you? I mean, maybe you check off all those things. You're feminine and you already had sex and you felt good. And
Well,
you're telling me it never can go from there? Never,
most
ever?
of no, and no, there's no such thing. There's no such thing, but it's such a small percentage, it's not worth talking about.
Okay. All
It's
right.
really, there's hybrid stuff, and the people that are soulmates the second they see each other, and they can sleep
Okay.
with each other the first night. Those are rare. Those are not the norm. The norm is 90% is the way I'm talking about. The
Sure.
norm is the
Yes.
other way. So people always say,
Yes.
"Well, my friend, I don't care about your friend. She's she's outside what's so
The norm.
you want to
Yes.
lean
I
into
get you.
what is the most standard,
Mhm.
and if you have something else, good for you. But as a rule, it doesn't work the other way. It just doesn't work. And men don't respect you that way. The more you put out, the less they respect you. And then what's happening in our culture now is men expect women to put out just as soon as they buy a sandwich, or not even 50-50 she should put out. Come to my house, watch Netflix, get you drunk, and you leave with your panties in your purse. That's what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
That doesn't build
Yes.
relationships. That makes women feel used, cheap, and men don't care because, how can you respect somebody who seemingly don't
Right.
respect themselves?
Right.
That's what it occurs
Yeah.
to
Well,
us.
I
Yeah.
again going back to my training. My training felt. I mean, I shouldn't say training when I was growing up, but yeah, what my grandmother taught me, and
Yep.
maybe my biology teacher in school or whatever. They're saying things like the man will marry you, but I didn't think that. But yeah, that's what we're talking about here, though. We want a man to commit. We want a man to marry you, and I've always been taught that. But what you're saying is not even all the way to marriage. What you're saying is that it stops, it
Everything.
doesn't work, period.
It doesn't. Get this. Get this. This is
Yes.
status. Again, I'm not talking in my butt, right? I'm telling you, like, this is the data. This is the research.
Right, right. Mhm.
If okay, so you meet a guy and you have chemistry, right? For two of you, you're dating, one date, two date, three dates, right? You like Sue, you like him, right? This is standard nowadays, right? 3, 4 dates, you like you have chemistry. You roll in the sack, right? And you think it's starting something, and for almost 100% of men, that kills it. Okay, here's the data. You ready?
Yes.
If you known him 3 weeks long, if he's known you 3 weeks long, and if he likes you as much as you could like somebody for 3 weeks, because he doesn't know anything about you, but the little bit they knows about you, when you have sex with a man, his emotional investment stops in that moment, which means he can't like you more than he did at that time. And you think you had to build a future on that? It doesn't work. This is going to fall off in 3 months or 6 months or 9 months,
Yes.
and for some people, people can actually have a sexual relationship for up to 3 years until, if there's nothing else, it falls apart. Why would you want to put yourself through that, ladies?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
pain, that a heartbreak, and the 3 years of wasting your time because you don't understand that sex does not start relationship with man. It never has and never will. I'm not a moralist. I'm not teaching you this because I'm a moralist. I'm none of that. It's nature. It's human being. It's man. Men don't.
You need to get a one of those things and shout that from the mountaintop, because
Amen.
people, ladies, for some reason nobody is teaching them this stuff. I learned this stuff, when I was a teenager, and but now everybody's. I think what's happening is because there's so few men. I think there's more than, what is the statistic? There's like 20% of men that are available.
No, no.
So women
Essentially,
have to, like, hey, fish, right?
well,
And
no.
yes,
The 20% of men, the 80% of the women want.
right,
Right. So
exactly.
like the guy who's
So
six
there's
foot
nothing
tall,
out there,
right?
right?
Six figures, six pack, right? Six,
Right,
all that stuff.
whatever.
So
A
every woman wants
job,
that
not in
guy.
prison, not
Right,
gay.
right.
Right,
Oh,
right,
right.
yes.
So
So
everybody
that's
wants the
what's
same
going
guy.
on. There's more women than men. So that's the feeding frenzy.
But
And
okay,
now
again,
everybody's fishing in other people's ponds. They're going after the married men. That's the worst thing. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I don't know who ever told them that goes anywhere.
yeah. This is how you destroy culture, by the way, right? So now
Yeah,
what I'm saying to you is the actual facts, right? Is that
right,
30% of the males out there are boys.
right.
30%. they're feminine, they're feminists, right? They're go girl. They want you to be a boss babe. They're so proud of all your effort and your 2 jobs. And while he's on the couch spooning the dog, smoking a joint, writing his music, right? Those are girls with penises, right? And so a third of men out there, because we shame men as being masculine nowadays, because it's toxic and you can't trust them and they're dangerous. Crap. Anyway, so these guys have been shamed out of it. So a third of boys, but there's the rest of them, that's 70%, that are mixed between men and guys are men who are men, but they don't really have any mojo with the ladies. They've been shamed by their culture as well to not lean in, but they're masculine enough. They have jobs, they have cars, they have little cars, they have little jobs. They live with 3 roommates, blah blah blah. But they're masculine. They don't live in mom's basement. They don't expect women to pay for them. So they're masculine, light. The other ones are just man. Do you know what I mean? And the man provide, protect, cherish, give, support, help, women, children, everyone. That's our nature. So that's that guy, right? That guy they're out there and they're not looking for boss babe. They're not looking for women with money and career women. They've been lied to. The culture said, girl, make yourself super valuable and important and money making with a career in the business and a title, and men will love you for that. Men do not give a crap about that. You understand that a capable man, a real man, will easily marry a girl that works at a fast food restaurant because she's lovely, feminine, pretty, young, fertile, right? That she wants a man and she wants to be a wife and a mother, right? Snatch her right up. It says what she does, what she owns is irrelevant. He's going to take that on to build a life with her. But women think that makes, like strong, independent, powerful, money, career, business, whatever. That's what appeals to men. It's actually a big turnoff because the more you're strong, independent, powerful, boss babe, the more aggressive you are, the less agreeable, the less, the less, what's the other word? Cooperative. You lean in, you fight, you're 50-50, you're all the things that men hate about themselves. So everything so get this, it's very simple. If you want to attract a man, a real man who does what every man does, like provide, protect, cherish, give, support, help, right? Just become exact opposite of that.
Yes.
Don't be
Polarity, right?
pushy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Don't be
Yes.
pushy. Don't lean in. Don't be aggressive.
Yes.
Don't conquer.
Yes.
Don't compete. Don't fight. Don't yell. Don't use. Become the opposite. This was young women who are feminine just do naturally. So she could be
Oh,
working at McDonald's.
do you think that femininity is a natural thing? I mean, if someone is masculine right now,
Yeah.
what do they got to do to be feminine? Is it possible?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is the work that I do with my ladies. I mean, they come at me because they bought into the go girl, boss babe mentality. Don't need no man, and just get yourself secure in every way possible. And then maybe you'll start to look for companionship, relationship, whatever. It doesn't work because you get stuck in the masculine so much that your femininity is really kind of behind you so far.
Yeah.
You don't know how to be
You
a girl.
don't know how to be feminine, right?
You don't know how to be feminine. You don't know how to be vulnerable. You don't know how to be warm and open, right? You just handle everything that men do that they don't like in women because we want the opposite of who we are. It's not that complicated, right? So what I do with my ladies are typically tilted this way. They're too masculine. Their femininity has been completely neglected. Often it comes from childhood upbringing, circumstances, no daddy, bad daddy, alcoholic daddy, narcissistic mother. Like there's a bunch of reasons why that happens. So it's not an accident. But the simple go-to is if a little girl doesn't feel safe in her life as a little girl, she has to become masculine to protect herself. And these little girls don't get to grow into the feminine naturally. Which is, again, why we need both mom and dad in the house, because that's what makes women normal and feminine, able to do both. And it makes young men be able to have a good role model and be, masculine appropriately, and also have some sensitivities with mom's teaching, right? We need both parents. That's essential for people to be balanced. So, but no, my clients are masculine per trade, per lifestyle, per childhood trauma. And we just got to recultivate that part of them back into, because
you help them do that. Okay.
It's in their bodies.
Yeah, because I'm thinking it's an aura, and I'm thinking it's something you're projecting. And if it's an aura or something you're projecting, it's very hard to change it. But yeah, you're right. With coaching,
it's very
then
doable.
you can, anybody can change. right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We change your
Okay.
habits, you change your lifestyle, we change a little bit how you approach things. We pace you down, when you're
Right.
public. My
Okay.
my favorite crass line. I don't know if you can like this, but
Okay.
this is they takes it home, right? You can be boss babe all day long. That's fine. And when I say like, however, you have to leave your balls at work. You have to leave your balls at
Yeah,
work
you,
because
you
if you
said
throw
that.
your
You
balls,
said that the last time
I
when
know,
you were
right? I know,
here.
but it's
When you
true, right?
come home,
Like,
you put it in a drawer, right?
put them in the drawer because if you go out in the world, especially with men, and put your balls in his face, you're done. It's over. That's not,
Right.
again, we don't care the money you make and
Yes.
what your boss babe about. We don't, that's not it. That's not it. Not to build a
Yeah.
relationship with.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Just saying. Just saying. Sorry, I just went off.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. Listen, we're here to teach, right? Now, you
Amen.
also talk about intimacy. So,
Mhm.
what is your definition of intimacy, and why is
Woo!
it important?
Well,
So let's keep with our scenario that we're
yes.
talking about here.
Okay, okay, okay.
Um, when does intimacy present itself? Is it, can you be intimate if you're not sleeping with somebody? I mean, educate me
Abs
here. Let's go this
Absolutely.
whole gamut of this intimacy thing.
All right, so intimacy, this is Esther Perel's kind of definition. Intimacy is into me see. Understand? So
Okay.
intimacy, in order for intimacy to happen, somebody has to get vulnerable. Men are naturally stoic, the real man, again. Men are stoic. So it's one of the things it's again on you ladies. The same thing on a date. It's on you to be in charge of the energy between you two per your own energy, right? He's going to follow that and it's going to work. Intimacy has to be started by the feminine.
Okay.
Otherwise, he can't grasp onto you emotionally. He cannot. So if you're a masculine woman, being vulnerable is very scary. The
Mhm.
opposite of vulnerability is control.
Mhm.
Controlling everything is masculine. So masculine women are controlling. They don't know how to be vulnerable. They're afraid to be vulnerable. It's unsafe to be vulnerable. So they're not vulnerable. And men go right by. Intimacy starts with opening up and being vulnerable to something that you're afraid to share or you're uncomfortable to share or that's so close to your heart that you're afraid to, right? Intimacy. I'll give you an example. It's so simple. I had a client who's a big girl, tall and big. Do you know what I mean? And in her head, she's like, well, men don't like girls like me. I'm like, that's so completely wrong. Like, you can't even go there. It's so stupid, right? Because men love all kinds of women for all kinds of reasons, right? It's not the
But I
magazine
can
cover
see
that.
how she get that because that's what
Of
society
course,
tells
of
us.
course, of
Right,
course.
right,
Right. So I
right.
get it. Young girl, pretty, right? Just bend. I go, okay, so this week we'll just knock that out of your head. Like, let's act like this doesn't exist. And I want you to be smiling. Look at every man that you walk by at work, on the street, in the parking lot, at Ralph's, at the coffee. Like, we just make eye contact and smile. Be present, smile, and be like a radiant loveliness. Like, energetically, that's right. Smiling will just, right? So, and I go, see what happens there. Okay, so again, she's scared a little bit. That's vulnerable, just to be vulnerable and then look by. I go, no, that's your practice. That's your work. Comes back a week later. What's going on? So how'd it go? She goes, really well. I go, what's going on? She goes, I got a date. I go, wait, what? I got a date. I'm like, well, there you go, right? So, but then and I go, but something was off. And I go, so, but what's going on? You should be excited and happy. She goes, well, actually, I'm really, really scared. I haven't dated in such a long time. I think I know I'm going to put my foot in it. I'm overthink it. Like, I'm already don't know what I'm going to wear. Like,
Right.
what if I say the wrong thing? What if I mess it up? Like, she's, right?
Yes, that's
I'm,
natural. That's
I'm
natural.
scared, right?
Right.
I go, she goes like, so now she's nervous of going, even though she's excited. She's more nervous. She's excited because she's going to mess it up. And she goes like, I go, oh, okay, so you're afraid? Yeah. I go, tell him. Tell him. She's like, what do you mean? I go, tell him. Watch what
Oh,
happens.
that's
Oh,
nice.
she's like, oh.
That's nice.
Right. So sure enough, he picks her up, blah, blah, blah. They get to the table. She's totally nervous. Right. He sits down, and the moment they got settled, she's like, I got to tell you something. He goes, sure. She goes, thank you for asking me out. I'm so excited. Like, I haven't dated in a long time and I'm really nervous. I'm afraid I'm going to just say something really stupid. I'm just telling you. And she goes, as soon as she said she was nervous, it left her, which is why I do
Yeah.
that. The moment you call it, it leaves because you just called on
Yes.
yourself, and so it
Yes.
dissipated. So she goes, as soon as I said it, I relaxed.
And the man
Right?
probably does. The man probably really likes that.
Right, absolutely, because that's vulnerable, right? That's an insight on
Yes.
her and her
Yes.
being, and right,
Yes.
and people even trusting him in that. But get this, get this. So as she says, you go, I released that, and I was like, okay. And he goes, he says, I'm so happy you said that. He goes, I haven't dated in a while too, and I'm also very, very nervous. Guess what happened? Psh, intimacy. First
Yes.
moment of
Yes.
intimacy. Now they
Wow.
both got like, oh, right? And that
Yes.
started the evening by being vulnerable, as
Right.
opposed to trying to control her nervousness, as opposed to control the situation, as opposed to control how she thinks she wants to be seen by him, right? So intimacy
That's a
starts with
beautiful story.
vulnerability.
And
Yeah.
totally what I didn't think intimacy was. My definition is intimacy is sexual. Like,
Well,
you know,
that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate. That's the ultimate like closeness, right? And nothing is closer than shared genitals. I mean, really, I mean, because a kiss
okay,
is intimate, right? A touch
right,
on
right,
the arm is intimate, right?
right.
Holding hands intimate, right? So
Okay,
it climbs up to, but the
okay.
idea
All
of
right. But it
having
starts.
sex,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Having sex to start intimacy for long-term result, that's not how it goes. It's not, it doesn't work that way. Men aren't wired that way. Men see this as a danger, as a danger because men get this. Like again, that's all instinctual. Men can't explain it. But if it's if he can't trust you, if literally he had to do nothing for you to open up to him, he cannot trust that you be virtuous for the rest of your life. So he will
I know.
not be able to put his time, energy, right,
Right.
resources into something to try to build with a woman who's not virtuous.
Listen, the
He can't do it.
grandparents told you that. This
But
is
again,
not new information.
no, but the thing is, people think it's old school. That's different than
Yeah.
nowadays. It's not. I research this all the time with like 25-year-old guy, 26-year-old guys, 27, like
The
the
same
new
thing.
generation, same exact
Thing.
thing.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not a age thing. It's not a millennials thing or a old school thing.
Mhm.
It's nature. So you go against nature. Look what's out there. It sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a modern way to do this, by the way. This is the work that I do.
Yeah. So,
Whew,
wow, this is
whew,
good.
whew. You got me going.
That's why you that's why you've been on this show 3 times. I mean,
I,
wow. I
I,
love learning up at this things. My mind is always going,
mm.
who do I know? Does this information, line up with the things that I know? And everything that you've said is all true. It's all
I
true.
mean, it's
Right.
again, it's the data, it's the research, is that like
Yeah.
human beings for
Yes.
millennia,
Right. And
and
you know what
finally
you said that
decoding.
I love?
Tell me,
You brought it right back to the egg and the sperm. That hasn't changed. And that's why
ain't never gonna change.
that's why there's the data is the same, because the egg and the sperm, or the masculine and the feminine, has not changed, right? People think that culture changes, and you're very right. Maybe 1% of the men are different. They will go with a woman, sleep with her on the first date, end up marrying her. But that is rare. And people can't use that as their model. What we're
Right.
using as the model is the 99.9%, or the
Ta-da.
90%, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I
that's
mean, it's so
amazing.
again, and that's I think the smarter way to approach it all. And again, it doesn't take. It's not genius stuff, right? It's again
Right,
following nature as opposed to culture. And culture has
right,
managed to take nature out. We think that we can give it a nature and we're smarter than that. Look
right.
what's out there. It's a disaster.
It is a disaster.
And it doesn't have to be.
It is a disaster. And I'm not even sure what exactly is going on. But if we were to take a pulse, too many single women, too many single men, the marriages are not happy. I mean, even if they stay together, they're not happy.
Mhm.
It is trouble. And I know that in my relationship, I have to work at mine all the time. And
Yep.
I'm just taken away because my husband and I used to fight almost every time we go out to dinner. And then I learned something, not anything that you're saying,
Right.
but I just learned something else about how to stop that. But now that I'm thinking, it might have been my energy, right? So I'm going to work on that.
I promise you, it's always your energy. Listen, my wife comes
Yeah.
home. My wife comes home. My wife is a warm, feminine ballerina, blah, blah, right? She's lovely.
Mhm.
She feels safe with me. So she's always in that place, that energy, because she feels safe in the world. And she's, right?
Right.
She walks in the door right there. I don't even have to look at her. I know if there's something wrong. I can feel it. It's in the air. You ladies don't understand how palatable it is, how you show up energetically. Is you beam it out. So if you beam out anxiety, stress, overwhelm, right? All
Yes.
that's what happens. It pushes us back. As opposed
Right.
to beaming out loveliness, warm, happy,
Right.
joyful,
Yeah.
easygoing, whatever, right? Then you guess what? You beam like this warm light and we get closer. Like everything you want from us, really, if you consider it's how you feel, right? Let's see. You feel good? I feel good. You're happy? I'm happy. You feel sexy? You're just freaking sexy. You understand that? Doesn't matter what body type you have. If you feel sexy, you are
Sexy. You're
sexy.
sex.
That's what we pick up. Your vibe.
Yes.
So like,
Right.
forget everything else. Really, go up in your head. You disappear from us. Get in your body. Feel good. Whew, I want to be here. I want to stay here all day long. Keep talking. I don't care what you say. I'm just gonna be right here. Just keep. Oh, you
Yeah.
go, girl. Whatever. I just like I'll just delight in that. It's
This is good
so
stuff. This is good
simple.
stuff. Right. Yes.
And
So you
again, I want
dropped
to
a
say
lot of nuggets here, Andre, tonight.
yes. Thank you,
A
darling.
lot of nuggets. Listen, guys, go back and listen to my other two episodes. I think the first one was What Do Men Want? And I don't remember what the second one is, but I'm going to link out to it. If you go to the show notes, I'm going to link out to my past two episodes. But so Andre was talking about in some of the other episodes how you can tell, like he mentioned it here briefly about the men from the boys, right?
Yeah.
The boys with the penises, but they're not really men.
Right.
And so there's a lot of good information that we talk about. But yes, relationships, and you start out by saying that relationships are how we show up in this world, and 85% of our happiness comes from the quality of our relationships. So you're right. The boss babes are probably saying, yeah, I don't need a man, but that's not true. It's not
Hello.
true.
Hello.
Yep.
Thank you. You said
It's
it,
not
not
true.
me. You say it.
Yes, it's not true. You know what I mean? And maybe they can look after themselves and pay their mortgage and pay their bills or whatever, but you need to be together. That's why God gave Adam Eve. So
Yeah.
you've got to learn how to make it happen. If you're single, how to get a man. If you're a man, how to get a woman. And if you're married, how to keep that relationship healthy. Because
Amen.
the fact that you're married doesn't mean that it's healthy. So yeah, you need to learn.
Absolutely. That's my thing. And I want to say this because it's like people come at me all day long, right? This is the way, this is my work. I do this full time. And it's so hard. It's so complicated. I go, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. You just don't know
It,
how. You don't know
it
how.
is
So
complicated, but they
it,
need to learn, right?
it's
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 complicated.
complicated when you
Yes.
believe what's out there. When you've
Yes.
been like literally like
Yes.
the cultural tidal wave of reversing everything is the new normal that destroys everything. So
Yes.
if you go by that model, yeah, you're just screwed. Like you won't be
It's
you won't make head
complicated.
and tails of it. It's you won't
Yeah.
head tails. It's madness. But if you go back to understanding the masculine and feminine dance, the partnership, the yin yang, do you know what I
Yes.
mean? My whole life is dance background, right? In a
Right.
dance couple, there's a dynamic. Both the parties are different but complementary.
True.
Like this nature here. The rest of it
Yes.
is negotiating what you wants and needs respectfully. And now we hit flex. Someone who cares for you will want to adjust for your comfort, both men and women. This is what we do. How do you do this respectfully? It's part of what I teach as well. But I'm telling you, in itself, like every one of my clients on the other side of the program would go, wow, I get it. It's not that hard. We
Right.
just didn't know. I'm like, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So if you want, if you want a taste of that, if you want, I'm hoping that people, both men and women, feel a bit of hope in listening to this podcast because it's really, really possible. Again, but it's away from what we think is right nowadays. Some
Yes.
people are doing it, and some people are living everything. They have their best lives because some people know how to do it naturally. the rest of us need to learn. And
That's right.
out there, it's not
Yeah.
teach you anything that works. I'm just saying.
Right.
Whew,
Yes.
I'm just
So
saying.
that's a good lead up. So tell us about your programs, about
Okay,
how you
so
help women and men to be happy and
love it.
being fulfilling relationships. So
So
tell us how they can get in touch with you.
all right, so I have two ways if you don't mind, because I have two different guests for your listeners. Is that cool?
Okay.
So, like, because I do a lot of podcasting, because again, my mission is to spread that out there and to bring hope and understanding and between men and women and make it all that possible again. This is a big dream. It's a God
Yes.
calling. I used to resent it. Now I just go with it because until it's Oprah big, I'm not going to stop. So it's okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a lot of podcasts to thank you, by the to help me spread that out there to bring hope and you know like to people who think it's hopeless because it's not. Anyway, so two types of people I notice listen to podcasts like this. There are people who are looking for information, right? And so if you're a person looking for information, you're here because you're curious, right? Want to start digging about that whole dynamic. If you go to my email directly, if you go to Andre Coaching, the number one at Gmail, that's my personal email. In the subject box, you write Irresistible Book. I will send you a copy of my Irresistible Book. It's the 5 feminine qualities high value men find absolutely irresistible.
Nice.
This is a gift. I sell it on my website. You have it free if you Andre Coaching1 Irresistible Book. I'll send it to you for free. It's gonna be a PDF, but it's a workbook. It's got like notes for you to take and kind of. It's a workbook, 30 pages. It's really good, and it's written by men. My point is, it's the work I've done with men who are these are 5 feminine qualities men value. And the more high value man is, the more these have to be in place. Like that's some good stuff right here, right? So come and get it. That's one.
Okay.
Now, the other type of listeners typically are people who are more like resonated with what I said. Like, shoot, that guy's got something, I think, right? They're curious. They want to take action. If you want to take action, Andre Coaching1 at Gmail, in the subject box, say talk now. Talk now means I'm going to send you a link to my calendar. You could book an hour call with me and we'll talk about this. Like I said, it takes a little guts, right? It takes this like, stepping in, being a little courageous. Well, we'll have a one-on-one conversation about where you stuck, what's not working, where you challenged with. Like if you find yourself in a loop, always the same type guy, always the same type woman, always the same result, always the same failure. It's you. And we have to decode that. And in that call, in 15 minutes, I'm really good at this. We decode where you got stuck, how you got stuck, where the wheels came off. And when you realize you're just a product of your past, right? There's nothing wrong with you. Because when we know what happened, we could fix it. So understanding there's nothing wrong with you is actually very liberating. That call liberates people just by understanding there's nothing wrong with them, right? And then from there, like what's the dream? What's the future that you want to build? And then I'll talk about the different ways that you can get invested or involved with me, small, medium, large, extra large, to see how we could get you to the dream life. So those two gifts, thank you from me to you.
Yeah, the book is amazing. It's, and the free strategy call as well. That's pretty good because then someone can decide whether they want to work with you. Yeah, as a coach myself, I normally do those strategy calls. It's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no pressure, right? It's just a conversation.
right, it's a free strategy call. I mean,
Yeah.
trust me. People can get you, Jessica, you're understanding what the problem is. You can even, help somebody out in those 15 minutes because sometimes you just need one revelation. So I got you. All right. So that's great. Well, I will have this information on the show page. I would have a transcript of my conversation with Andre, as well as the information if you missed it, what you to get the free book, and also to set up the strategy call. Do you want to send anybody to your website or not?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, I mean, and if you're curious at all, like you could you could stalk me all over the internet. I have a TikTok account, Instagram, YouTube, right? Also, my website is equinox.net, EQUINOX.net. And on there, like all the links are there, and there's blogs, there's articles, there's all kinds of stuff. But also, like I do so many podcasts. It's a great way to sort of hear more. If you Google my name, podcast with Andre Paradis, you'll have an avalanche of stuff to play with for a while. So it's like it's out there. So
yes, Good mission, Andre.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
it's actually a good one, because relationships is, like I said, it's the thing that most people don't get right. And yeah, so
Drives the
you know,
world.
this whenever we've done 3 podcasts now, and you've given me a lot of information that I've taken back and worked it. And you know, I'm married. But yeah, and you know, people that are single out there, and even married ones, can go
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, I work with single women, single men, couples,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Couples. Also, I'm an ordained minister, so
Yeah,
some
I've seen
couples.
your weddings.
Yeah, so I mean, some of my clients, I married them myself. I just did 2 this summer,
Yeah,
the
that's so
ultimate
sweet.
honor. But even people who don't really know me, right, who just hire me to be an ordained minister, actually get to have some premarital coaching
Counseling, right,
in
right.
order for them to get in that clean, right? To clean up
Yeah,
the stuff
yeah.
before we actually get in. So whatever. So
That
there's
is so good.
a
That
lot of
is
good
so
stuff.
good.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, hey, you know what? I'm not saying this is it. You said something in a minute ago that I thought, you know what? I'm not going to open that back up. I'm not going to open that up, but maybe I can have you back again to talk about that. I don't
Who's
remember what it is now, but
you remember? I mean, there's like 600 layers here to peel
yes,
back,
yes, yes,
honestly. So
exactly. Right. All right. Well, listen,
anytime
Andre,
at all, my complete pleasure.
thank you so much. Like I
Thank you.
said, I learned so much from you. And yeah, I'm gonna go back with the one thing now about the energy. You know, when you're at dinner, I like it.
Absolutely. But everywhere,
And
you know.
the women sets the tone. So if there's a fight, then it's my fault.
Hey, it's always good to look at it, is it?
Yeah,
Maybe. It's worth
exactly.
looking into, right? Instead of blaming the other. I don't know.
Yes. All right. Well, listen.
Something.
Thanks again, Andrea. You guys have a wonderful Valentine. Hey, if you don't have
Thank you.
anyone to love, love yourself. You know, that's where it starts.
That's where it
Self-love.
starts.
You
Mm,
know, buy yourself some chocolate, go buy yourself some flowers or something, and just love on you.
mm.
That and take Andre's information that he talked about what you shouldn't do on the first 3 dates. Boy, that's golden information, right? For recap, it's not an interview. You heard wrong if you heard like me. It's a job interview. No, it makes the man run. So you're not getting the job.
That's it.
So
That's it.
yes, good information here.
Uh,
Right.
good stuff.
So yeah, so listen, guys. So thank you guys for tuning in to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life. I'm wishing you guys a very happy Valentine. And hopefully that if you're without love right now, then if you contact Andre, get a copy of his book, listen to the podcast, get the information like the girl that he was talking about, you might be able to have love by next Valentine. That's what I'm praying for you. Andre, it's a
Amen.
pleasure. Thanks again. Thanks to you guys for tuning in. And until next time, namaste.
Namaste.
All right. Bye, Andre.
Bye, honey. I have something if you have a second.
Okay.
If you stop the recording.